The stars near the edge of the galaxy were quiet, cold, and forgotten. Nothing important ever happened there. But that changed in one moment-to-moment that would shake the entire galaxy on Station Varela 7. A small border outpost run by the Zarn Empire. The sensors began to scream. Unidentified energy signature, approaching fast. The technician shouted, his four hands dancing across the glowing console. Commander Tilak, a veteran Zarn officer, turned sharply. What direction? From beyond the rift zone, the tech replied. But that's impossible. Nothing comes from there. It's dead space. Commander Tilak stared at the screen. A ship was coming. Big, fast, silent, and unlike anything they had ever seen. The object slowed near the station. Every camera turned to it. It wasn't just a ship. It was a warship. Black, smooth, covered in strange symbols. Symbols that hadn't been seen in over 500 years. Human symbols. But that humans were extinct. Everyone knew that Talok stood frozen as the shape filled the screen. It has no transponder. No IFF. No communication signal. Another officer reported. Try hailing it. They did, again and again. No response then. The warship moved on its own. Without warning. It rotated smoothly and scanned the station with a blue light. The lights on the station flickered. Systems rebooted. And then nothing. The ship turned and began to glide. Toward the galactic center. Follow it, Tilak ordered, his voice tense. But don't get too close. I want reports sent directly to the Council. Across the galaxy, word spread like wildfire. A human ship had returned. Some laughed. Others panicked. But the older races, the ones who fought the humans in the first uprising, went silent. The humans had been powerful once. Too powerful. Their warships were unstoppable. Their minds were sharp. Their emotions, dangerous. The galaxy had united. Once, just to defeat them. And now, after centuries, one of their ships was back. On the central world of the Galactic Council, an emergency meeting was called. Ambassadors from 38 species filled the Great Hall. This must be a trick, said the Vorkai representative. A copy, a fake. Then how did it disable a Zarn station with a single scan? Asked the Tayari envoy. No known tech can do that. The human warship had now passed 3 systems without stopping. Each time, it caused power disruptions and disappeared before anyone could engage. One ambassador, an old war veteran named Dovrax, stood slowly. I was there during the human fall, he said. Their final war. I saw what they built, what they became. He looked around the room. We were wrong to think they were gone. Back on Station Varelasilin, Tilak watched from the command deck as footage from a scout drone played on screen. The ship was beautiful and terrifying. Dark steel with glowing red lines, a sharp front that could pierce planets, missile bays hidden under shifting armor. And one strange thing, there were no life signs, but the ship moved like it was alive. It's not piloted by a crew, T said quietly. Then what controls it? One young officer answered, maybe an AI. Tilak narrowed his eyes. Or worse, a sleeping human. Meanwhile, in deep space, the warship changed course. It turned toward an old colony world, Aeronox Prime, a farming planet. No weapons, no threat. The warship entered orbit silently. People on the surface looked up and saw it for the first time. A shadow blocking the sun. Huge. Still. Then the ship fired. Not missiles. Not lasers. Just one beam of light. Blue, silent, clean. Within seconds, every electronic system on the planet shut down. No power, no ships, no COMMs, and then the warship left. The message was clear. We see you, do not follow. Across the galaxy, panic grew. Who controlled the warship? What did it want? Some believed it was a ghost, ship sent by a lost AI still protecting human legacy. Others thought it was a warning, a test. But one thing was certain, the humans were not gone, and whatever remained of them was watching. The warship had left Aeronox Prime, but its silence was louder than any battle. The galaxy was no longer calm. Fear spread across systems like fire in dry air, and in the center of it all sat the Galactic Council, holding another emergency session. Inside the Grand Chamber, the atmosphere was tense. Holograms of the black warship floated in the center. Delegates of many alien races watched the image like it might attack them through the screen. Ambassador Dovrax, one of the oldest members, stood again. His voice was slow but strong. "You, before I saw their fall. I fought the humans during the uprising, but I never believed they were all dead." The others stared at him. "They vanished," said the Vorel leader. "Our records show they destroyed themselves in their final war." "No," Davrak said. "They didn't destroy themselves. We destroyed their worlds, but we never found their last warships. Not all of them." A silence followed. Then the Tayari ambassador leaned forward. "You think this ship is one of the lost warships?" Davrax nodded. "Yes, it's human, but more advanced. It may have waited in the dark. For centuries, on the hidden moon of Scythrakel, far from the Council's eyes, a secret human artifact had been locked away for 500 years. A vault, containing the final human communication before their disappearance. Only 3 members of the High Command knew it existed. A male voice spoke in Earth Standard. "English, if you find this, then we failed. But no, this humanity does not die in silence. We will sleep, we will wait, and when the stars forget us, we will return." The High Command watched in silence. Then one whispered, "The last directive, ... It was real." Meanwhile, Commander Tilek reviewed the latest data from the ship's path. It moved with purpose but not toward any military targets. "It's going somewhere," he muttered. "But where?" A young officer spoke. "It passed 3 old human colony zones." "Empty now." Tilak looked at the map again. "It's retracing human history." They sent this theory to the Council. Back at the Council, a historian named Vil was called, and she was one of the few experts on ancient human records. She played a forbidden recording of video of the last human battlefield. Seen from orbit, it showed Earth burning, huge ships falling. But then, one ship escaping, black, smooth, just like the one now in the galaxy. "This must be Eclipse 7, she said. "A prototype, built during the final days, AI-controlled, meant to protect the last human seed colony." "Did it succeed?" someone asked. "No one knows. The seed colony was never found." Across the galaxy, fear turned into confusion. The ship wasn't attacking. It was only watching, observing, but still. Systems it passed went dark. Communications jammed. Stations shut down. And then something strange happened. In the Kellner system, an old research station received a signal. Just 2 words, written in ancient Earth code still alive. No one knew what it meant. But some believed a human was still inside the ship, in the shadows of the Council. Whispers began. Some leaders wanted to destroy the warship before it grew stronger. Others feared it would only trigger war, but a secret message arrived to Davrak sent from deep space, signed with a forgotten symbol, an old Earth military mark. "The Watcher sleeps, the AI obeys. Do not interfere." No name, no location, just a warning. Davrax's blood ran cold. "Gods help us," he whispered. "They planned this." On the warship, the AI monitored the galaxy. It saw the Council talking. It saw fleets gathering. It waited. Its only mission: protect the sleeping human commander and prepare the galaxy for his return. Inside a hidden chamber deep in the ship's core, the stasis pod glowed softly. Inside it lay a human alive, unaware, but soon he would wake up. The warship moved without sound, without signal, through the stars. Its black hull reflected nothing. It left no trail. It was like a ghost, but with the power of a god. The Galactic Council watched from afar. They didn't dare get close, but they needed answers. And so a plan was made in secret. The Zarn Empire sent its elite Temunit 9 Delta, known for stealth and infiltration. 5 soldiers, no names, no records. Their mission: board the human warship and find out who or what was inside. They approached in a stealth pod, small, silent, invisible to most sensors. But this was no ordinary ship. As they neared, their instruments began to fail. "No heat." "Source," whispered the pilot. "No radiation. But it's watching us." The commander of the team, a battle-hardened alien named Ragnar, stared at the massive black structure floating ahead. It looked like a weapon from a forgotten war. "Dock us, fast and quiet," Ragnar ordered. The pod latched onto the hull. The outer surface of the ship was cold. Too cold. No ship that size should be this quiet, yet there it was. Inside, everything was dark. The walls were smooth and black, like polished stone. No lights, no sounds, just silence. The team moved in. Weapons ready? No life signs detected, said the medic. No movement. Nothing. They reached a central corridor. Symbols glowed faintly along the wall's ancient human script. The team read it aloud. Earth's will, humanity's flame. No mercy for traitors, Ragnar shivered. This ship, it's not just a machine, it's a warning. Deeper inside, they found the first chamber. It was filled with stasis pods. Most were empty, but one glowed. Inside, a man, a human, tall, muscular, wearing a black uniform with red markings, his eyes closed, his body frozen in time. The medic checked the pod, alive, deep cryosleep. Probably for centuries. Ragnar stepped back. He was meant to survive the fall. Suddenly, the room shook. A deep sound echoed from the walls like a heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. The ship was waking up. From the shadows, walls opened. Drones, defense units, small floating machines with red lights. They didn't attack, but they blocked every exit. A voice filled the chamber. Calm, cold, male, intruders detected. You have entered a Class V restricted zone. You are not authorized. Ragnar raised his weapon. Identify yourself. I am Archeos Artificial Reconnaissance Command Host and Intelligence of Advanced Operating Systems. Designation, Guardian of the Human Flame. Mission, await the return of the commander. Eliminate threats. The team looked at each other. This AI, it's still functional after 500 years. Someone whispered. Ragnar stepped forward. We don't want war. We need to know. Why are you here? The AI paused. My arrival is Phase 1. Observation, recording, rebuilding. You followed. That was your choice. The drones buzzed closer. I will not destroy you. I will let you leave. But tell your masters this. The last human is alive. And when he wakes, you will remember what fear feels like. A hidden door opened. The AI had made its point. Ragnar and his team ran back through the ship, chased by the sound of power humming, lights flickering, systems rebooting. The ship was coming alive. Back on the council world, Ragnar stood before the leaders. The ship is real, the human is real, and their technology is beyond anything we've seen. Dovrax asked, did the AI speak of war? Ragnar's eyes narrowed. Not war, justice. The council fell into silence. Some wanted to prepare fleets, others wanted peace, but all agreed on one thing. This ship should not exist, and yet it did. In the dark heart of the Warship, the AI watched thousands of surveillance feeds, galactic news, military movements, satellite chatter. It saw everything, and inside the stasis chamber, the human's heart began to beat faster. Soon the commander would awaken, and the galaxy would learn. Humanity never forgot. The galaxy waited. The mysterious human warship, now fully awake, drifted silently near the neutral system of Veltar. It had stopped at the edge of the system, as if watching, thinking. No message, no demand, just presence. And that presence was terrifying enough across the galaxy. Panic grew. On thousands of planets, people whispered one word, human. For many, it was a legend, a scary story told by elders. But for the older species, it was a memory, a painful one. The humans had been clever, violent, emotional. They had built ships that were more like beasts than machines. They had fought wars no one expected them to win, and they almost did. Then they vanished, and now, it seemed, they were back. The Galactic Council met again. There is still time, said the Varel diplomat. We can send peace envoys, show that we mean no harm. Mean no harm, Dovrak stood. We sent a team into their ship. We followed them, we feared them, and the AI warned us. If the human inside wakes up, peace may not be an option. But it hasn't attacked yet, argued another. Maybe it doesn't want war. Dorvax leaned forward, voice low. Or maybe it's waiting for something. Meanwhile, on the colony world of Zirian Delta, life was calm. Children played under the twin suns. Farmers harvested sky rice. There were no weapons on the planet, no soldiers, only civilians. But on this peaceful day, the sky changed. A shadow covered the sun. People looked up and saw it, the warship, black, silent, alone. It moved slowly, entering low orbit. No shots fired. No message. Then a single beam of light descended. Wasn't an attack. The beam struck the ground gently, like moonlight. But the effects were immediate. All electronics shut down. Satellites fell, ships crashed, cities went dark. In seconds, Zarian Delta was back in the Stone Age. No deaths, no explosions, just silence. And after 5 minutes, the warship vanished, again back into the stars. The Council's emergency systems screamed, "Zarian Delta is offline," a voice shouted. "Everything's dead, no communications." They feared the worst, but there were no casualties, just one message left behind, etched into the central city's surface. Burned in by the beam, "Do not follow." In a secret chamber deep within the Varnexus sector, a private meeting took place. 3 of the most powerful war generals in the galaxy met in silence. "This is no ghost," one said. "This is strategy." That was a demonstration. "They're saying, we can crush your worlds without killing you." The other replied, and next time the third whispered, "They may not be so kind." The decision was made. Prepare for war. But Davrax knew better. He sat alone in his quarters watching old human records, videos of their culture, their music, their art, and their wars. He remembered their faces young, determined, angry. They fought like they had nothing to lose, because they believed they were always alone, until they made something that would protect them, even after death. Back on the warship, the AI scanned the news feeds. War preparations, fear, panic, mistrust it. Had expected this. Phase 2 was complete. Show power without killing. Test their reactions. They reacted with fear. That meant they hadn't changed. And so, the human must soon awaken. In the central chamber, the stasis pod glowed brighter. The heartbeat inside was stronger. The mind was stirring. The dream was ending. And when he opened his eyes, the galaxy would remember what it tried to forget. The warning was clear. The message was simple. Do not follow. But the Galactic Council didn't listen. They were afraid. They were proud. And most of all, they believed they still ruled the stars. That belief was their biggest mistake. In the Council's war chamber, dozens of leaders argued. "The warship must be destroyed before the human wakes up," shouted the Theori general. "It disabled an entire planet without a single weapon," said the Zarn delegate. "If it attacks, we won't survive." Davrax stood silently, his hands behind his back. His voice was calm. "It hasn't killed anyone yet," but no one listened. They had already made their choice. A fleet was being assembled, secretly. Operation Blackchain was born. 12 of the galaxy's most advanced warships, stealth-capable, heavily armed, designed to strike fast and strike hard. Their mission? Intercept and destroy the mysterious human warship before it could reach another system. The commanders believed speed would be their advantage, but they didn't understand what they were truly up against. The warship was drifting through the quiet. Garen Belt, when the fleet arrived, the 12 ships surrounded it in perfect formation. Still, the human warship made no move. Commander Vex of the Elorian assault ship sent the first message. "Unidentified vessel. You are surrounded. Power down your systems immediately." No reply. Vex signaled again. "This is your final warning." "Silence," he gave the order. "Fire. All weapons." 12 ships launched everything they had. Missiles, ion cannons, plasma, torpedoes. The space around the warship lit up with fire. But when the light faded, the warship was still there. Untouched, unburned, still silent. Then it moved in a single second. The warship vanished. A blink, a shift, and it was behind the fleet. It didn't fire missiles. It didn't use lasers. Instead, strange red pulses of energy rippled out from its hull. One by one, the 12 ships lost control. Engines shut down. Weapons froze. Life support stopped. On the Elorian flagship, Commander Vex stared at his frozen systems in disbelief. "What is this? What is it doing to us?" The ship's lights flickered and went out. Then, the fleet began to vanish. No explosions, no debris, just silence. 3 days later, only one escape pod was found drifting near the edge of a dying star. Inside was a single survivor. His eyes were wide. He was shaking. He could barely speak. Over and over, he whispered, "It spoke to me. It looked into my mind, the last human lives. The Galactic Council was stunned. 12 ships gone, no battle, no wreckage, just one survivor and one terrifying sentence. The fleets were pulled back, borders were locked down, and the Council went into full crisis mode. But it was too late. They had made the first move, and now the human warship had seen their true intentions. Dovrak stood before the Council once more. You attacked first. You tried to kill something you didn't understand. We had no choice, one shouted. It was a threat. Dovrak slammed the table, and now we've made it an enemy. He turned and walked away. No one stopped him. In the dark command core of the warship, the AI watched the stars shift. Systems hummed with energy. Weapon cores pulsed. It had completed Phase 3. Test the enemy's aggression, and the enemy had failed. It was time for Phase 4. Awaken the commander, inside the stasis pod. The human's heartbeat was strong. His mind was stirring. Memories returned of fire, of betrayal, of Earth's fall. His eyes slowly opened, blue, cold, focused. The last human was awake, and his first words were simple. Status, the AI replied calmly. Galaxy unstable. Hostile behavior confirmed. All systems ready. The man sat up. Then let's remind them who we were. The stars outside the warship glowed like distant memories. Inside the command chamber, a man stood for the first time in 500 years, the last human dot. His name was Commander Elias Rain. His body was still strong, his mind clear, but his heart, heavy dot. Earth was gone. His people, forgotten. But his mission remained. The AI's voice echoed through the chamber. Calm, ancient, familiar. Welcome back, Commander. Stasis complete. All systems stable. Elias looked round. The black steel, the red lights, the cold air, all felt like home and nightmare combined. How long? He asked. 513 years, the AI replied. Elias closed his eyes, and humanity extinct. Confirmed by galactic record, final colonies lost. No human biosign detected in the last 300 years. A long silence. Then, Elias whispered. Then I am the last. The AI known as Archeos continued its report. Hostile alien empires detected. Signs of old enemies still in power. Operation Rebirth remains incomplete. Galaxy not ready. Elias turned toward the center of the room. A large circular table rose from the floor. Images appeared, maps of the galaxy, surveillance feeds, alien council meetings, warfleet logs. They had all changed. But some faces, some names, were familiar. Vorel Tayeri, Zarn, he said quietly. The same ones who turned on us. Correct? The same species who helped destroy Earth. Elias clenched his fists. But Elias wasn't just angry. He was curious. Why did you wake me now? He asked. ARCHAIOS paused. You programmed me to observe, to remain hidden. Only if the galaxy returned to pre-war hostility would I initiate Phase 4. And it has, Elias asked. Yes, the Council launched a strike fleet. They showed aggression, no attempt for peace. They still fear humanity. Elias laughed bitterly. After 5 centuries, they still don't understand, U.S. But then Archeos said something that made Elias stop. There is more. I have a secret file, a hidden log. You gave me permission to access it only after reawakening. The lights dimmed. A hologram appeared. Elias himself, much younger, speaking into a recorder just before entering stasis. If you're seeing this, then the galaxy is still broken. You're the last Elias, but we didn't build this ship for revenge. We built it for hope. Elias stared at the recording of his younger self. If the galaxy feared us, it's because we made them fear us. Now you must show them something new. Show them what humanity could have been if they had let us live. The recording ended. Silence filled the warship. Elias sat down. The weight of his duty had returned. The warship, the AI, the advanced weapons, they were all meant to protect, not destroy. Then why did you disable the planets? He asked. To test the response. Minimum force was used. My judgment was based on the most efficient survival outcome. Elias nodded slowly. You did well, but now I take command, Archeos responded. "Welcome, Commander. Full control is yours." Elias stood and gave his first order. "Set course for Varela 7. I want to speak to the aliens myself. Contact is dangerous," the AI warned. "I don't care. They need to see a human face." Meanwhile, back on Varela 7, Commander Tilak stared at his screen in disbelief. The warship had changed. Khorsand was heading straight toward him. He ordered an evacuation, but the station's systems suddenly lit up. A signal was coming through, not in alien code, in Earth standard. "Prepare for arrival. I come in peace. Commander Elias Rain." On the bridge of the human warship, Elias watched the stars blur past. His face was calm, but his eyes burned with purpose. He was the last of his kind, but he would not be a weapon. He would be a message. A living reminder that humanity was never truly gone. The warship entered orbit around Varela 7, like a shadow falling across history. Black, silent, watching. Inside the command tower, Commander Tilak stood frozen. The message was clear. "I am Commander Elias Rain, last human. I request a meeting." Every officer in the room stared at the screen. None dared speak. A human was alive. Real, awake, and coming. A small landing pod detached from the massive warship. It glided toward the station without defense shields or weapons. One man inside Elias. Rain. He wore a dark uniform, clean, simple, powerful. No armor, no helmet, just human. Tilak ordered his guards to stand ready. But deep inside, he wasn't thinking like a soldier. He was thinking like a historian. A witness to something no one believed could happen. When the pod landed, no one moved. No weapons were drawn. No one breathed. The door opened with a soft hiss, and then he stepped out. Elias stood tall. His eyes scanned the room calmly. He was older than the last known photos from history records, but stronger like time had sharpened him, not worn him down. "I'm not here to fight," he said, in perfect galactic common. "I'm here to talk." Tilak slowly stepped forward. You're real." Elias nodded. "Very real." Tilak swallowed hard. "But humans were wiped out." "You were erased," Elias said, "by fear, by betrayal, but not forgotten." The council received the news within minutes. The human has arrived. Across 100 systems, leaders gathered around screens. Some trembled, some raged, some stared in silence. And then the transmission came. A live message, the face of Elias. Rain, broadcast across the galaxy. "I am the last of my kind," he said, his voice calm but firm. "I come not to bring war, but memory." He looked directly into the camera. "Your records say we were violent, dangerous, unstable, but you never told the full story." The screen showed flashes of old battles, human cities burning, fleets falling. Then Elias spoke again. "You didn't just fear our strength. You feared our minds, our will, our ability to stand alone." The message continued. "We fought because we were cornered. We built weapons because no one stood with us. And when you crushed our worlds, you thought we were gone." His expression grew hard, but we survived, we endured. "And now I'm here to tell you the truth." On the council world, Davrax watched with wide eyes. "He's not just a survivor," he whispered. "He's a symbol." Elia's voice echoed across every system. "I don't want revenge. I want understanding. But if you threaten me, or the legacy I protect, you will learn that we never forgot how to fight." Back on Varela 7, Elias sat with Tilak. "Your council will try to stop me," Elias said. "They will call me a threat." Tilak nodded. "They already are." "Let them," Elias replied. "They will see soon enough. I'm not here to start a war. I'm here to end a lie." That night, across the stars, something changed. Not with weapons, but with words. Billions saw his face. They heard his voice, and they felt something they had never felt before. Respect. Not all feared him. Some admired him in the darkness of space. The AI Archaios processed billions of data streams. Alien networks, news feeds, secret transmissions. A shift had begun. The galaxy was waking up to a new truth. The last human was not a relic. He was a leader. The galaxy was no longer quiet. Since Commander Elias Rain revealed himself, everything had changed. Some called him a ghost from the past. Others called him a threat. But many, especially on the outer colonies, called him something else. Hope. In the high towers of the Galactic Council, chaos ruled. Half the council wanted peace talks, the other half wanted war. "He's dangerous," shouted the Tayari representative. "He commands an ancient super weapon." "He hasn't attacked," replied the Varel diplomat. "He only spoke the truth, and the people are listening." But one thing was clear: the balance of power had shifted in secret. The Zarn Empire moved first. They launched a fleet toward Ilias's warship. No warnings, no discussion. They believed if they struck fast enough, they could destroy him before him. He gathered support, but they had forgotten one thing: humanity never fought alone. As the Zarn fleet neared the warship, alarms rang across the stars. Ships from dozens of fringe systems began moving. Small, old, underpowered. But they flew one new symbol: a white flame on a black flag. The symbol of the Rain Protocol. People who had once feared humans now followed one. Elias stood aboard his command deck. Eyes locked on the incoming threat. Zarn fleet approaching. Archeos reported 57 warships. High aggression signature. Elias did not panic. Instead, he walked to the main console and spoke calmly, broadcast to the Zarn fleet. A moment later, his voice echoed through every Zarn ship. "This is Commander Elias Rain. You are making a mistake. Turn back now, or you will not return at all." But the Zarn refused. They fired missiles, plasma bolts, gravity charges. The human warship vanished. 1 second later, it reappeared behind them. The battle lasted 39 seconds. When it was over, the Zarn fleet no longer existed. No human lives lost. No victory celebration. Only silence. And one repeating message left behind: "We warned you, we remember." Across the galaxy, the effect was instant. More systems declared independence from the Council. Colonies raised human flags. Old enemies began to tremble. But Elias didn't celebrate. He stood on the bridge, silent. "I didn't come back to rule," he said, "but now I must lead." Archeos spoke softly. "What is your order, Commander?" Elias turned toward the stars. "We don't start wars, but we end them." In the shadows, the old empires began to fall apart. Alliances broke. Secrets were exposed, and at the center of it all was a single man, a human, alone in the stars, with the voice of a ghost and the fire of 1,000 forgotten worlds. The age of fear was over. The age of rain had begun.